Welcome to CivilizationX. The model works in the pilot. It fails in production when data, approvals, and liability are split across departments. That is the anomaly. In enterprise AI, the dangerous part is not usually the model itself. It is the gap between a prediction and anyone who can explain, stop, or own it. One hospital billing office makes that gap visible. At 5:42 a.m., a claims specialist opens an auto-reviewed queue and sees a cancer infusion authorization denied by an internal risk system. A chair is already reserved. A family is packing a charger and a sweater. In 3 hours, the patient may be waiting for a call that should never have been needed. This is how enterprise AI usually enters a company. Historical data goes into a model, the model compresses patterns into weights, then the output becomes a score, rank, or recommendation inside a workflow. Human users often see only the output, not the evidence chain. Generative AI makes this worse, because it can produce confident text that looks finished, even when the underlying chain is broken. And yet, 88% of organizations already use AI in at least one business function. But only about 5% scale those projects successfully, and 70 to 90% fail to deliver intended value. So, the real contradiction is this: AI is everywhere inside companies, while trust is still missing. That mismatch is expensive. A production failure in a mid-market company cost a median $287,000 in 2024, before legal and reputational damage. But that wasn't the biggest challenge. The largest unmanaged risk surface is often shadow AI. In March 2026, 78% of employees admitted using unapproved AI tools. That means patient notes, contracts, code, HR records, and financial data can flow into systems the company cannot see. So even if leadership audits one official model, hundreds of invisible decision points may still be operating every day. Why does that matter? Because deep learning systems do not store human rules. They store compressed statistical relationships. A model can learn that certain claim patterns correlate with fraud, or that certain resumes correlate with retention. But the internal logic is not a checklist a manager can read. As expert Kosinski puts it, the black box problem comes from the complexity of neural networks making decisions hard to understand. In regulated work, that opacity is not a detail. It is the failure mode. Then the chain compounds. Over half of employees report biased outputs from their generative AI tools, and 72% of executives are concerned about bias. Nearly half of executives admit making material business decisions from inaccurate, incomplete, or outdated financial data in the past year. Tom Shea's warning is blunt. If companies do not trust their data, AI only accelerates bad decisions. In healthcare and finance, those failures can trigger fines from $50,000 to $1.5 million, or under the EU AI Act, up to 35 million euros, or 7% of global turnover. But here is where it gets counterintuitive. The problem is not just prediction. It is accountability. When CISO, legal, compliance, HR, and business units each own a piece of AI governance, no one owns enforcement. Policies get written, risk reviews happen in silos. And when a harmful decision lands, no one has the authority to approve, block, investigate, or unwind it quickly. Even the best testing does not fix a system nobody can stop. That is why the practical fixes are mechanical, not mystical. Role-based access, logging, human review for high-stakes decisions, continuous monitoring, and data pipelines that can be audited end-to-end. Only 12% of executives believe their current skills or processes can govern AI effectively, which tells you the gap is structural, not cosmetic. The deeper cost lands first on the people with the least power to contest the machine. Workers under scheduling scores, applicants filtered by opaque rankings, patients whose cases do not match the training data, and teams told to obey systems they cannot inspect. Bankins and Formosa warned that black box AI can degrade workers' competence and confidence, creating a two-tier company where managers can override the machine and everyone else lives under it. In the hospital, the denial was reversed only because a human spotted it in time. But the real question remains: can enterprises build high-stakes AI systems that preserve human-readable chain of evidence from source data to final recommendation, without losing the speed and scale that made AI attractive in the first place. The constraint is real. The data exists. Whether the systems built around it can act on it at scale, that is the next engineering problem. Stay with CivilizationX.